how can I like tackle this problem? Actually, how can I notice this? And then how can I be there for them and support them?
90% of our gut is made of our the nervous system.
I just before I eat anything, I just ask myself, am I really hungry? Am I dehydrated?
Yes. One thing for sure is that we need to go back to our roots and how our great-grandparents used to eat. So we need to eat natural foods. We need to eat what God has given us.
Hello, and welcome to the Late Night Podcast by Q+. I am Khulud Lishaq, and my colleague here.
I'm Latifa Naimi, and in this podcast, we discuss interesting topics with interesting people. And as for today's special guest, we have Ghinwa, who is a dietitian and a health coach who's been in this field for over 14 years. How are you, Ghinwa?
Hello, Latifa and Khulud. I'm good, and I'm happy to be here with you sharing interesting facts about nutrition and health.
Well, hope you didn't find any trouble getting here.
I know, it was easy.
Let's get into how you got into wellness. Was it a personal event that shifted your lifestyle or something else? Tell us more about that.
Actually, I was very good in biology in school, so I was interested in being either in pharmacy, to enroll in a pharmacy school or nutrition school. And when I got accepted into nutrition school, it was something new, like a hit thing happening around the world. But actually, my preferences changed throughout my practice. When I started shifting towards more functional nutrition due to personal challenges in my health. So I have challenges in my thyroid, and with time, I realized that there are things that I need to change in my lifestyle and my habits that I didn't learn in nutrition school, but actually I had to look for them and go to treat the root cause of this problem by shifting to functional nutrition and see where my the block in my health was happening.
So what's the difference between functional nutrition with regular nutrition? What's the difference? Because you mentioned...
So functional nutrition is more about going back into root causes of the problems and treating the challenges with more natural food, natural products, some herbs.
Maybe natural remedies as well.
Natural remedies, and also going back to changing the lifestyle of a person when it comes to sleep, stress, time management. So these all interfere in a person's health, and it's not only about what you eat on your plate. So it's the bigger picture.
So being more mindful.
Being more mindful definitely is part of managing your life, your health, because we tend to be not present in this world due to social media and everything we're bombarded with.
Yeah, but Ghinwa, how did you, because I believe you mentioned that you had to start to work on your sleep, your eating habits, and you have to work with your anxiety. So was it challenging to start with at first? And how did you manage to continue being in that field?
So sleep played a big role in managing my life. Lack of sleep is related to increased cortisol levels and stress levels. So people who, for example, don't sleep well or don't sleep early, have a poor sleep hygiene, usually tend to have higher cortisol levels, which are stress levels, and which leads to high insulin levels. So, and when one hormone is out of balance, all other hormones will be also affected. That's why thyroid hormones will get affected too. So that's one part. Stress is definitely a key player in one's health. And actually, it's more of what controls 90% of our life and behavior. So we can talk a lot about ways to de-stress, but it's something that should be always tackled whenever we're dealing with a challenging case or like a health problem.
I like how you shifted your personal struggles to do something that you're passionate with now. So as for your point with, sleep hygiene and all, that also happened with me when I had like a poor sleep schedule. Even though I was on a diet, but I didn't see much of a result. So once I started working, once I started rescheduling my life and rescheduling my routine and doing all that, I noticed a huge change in my weight. Like also the way I eat, the way I consume food. I started consuming less food, eating more proper meals throughout the day, like 3 meals with 2 snacks, being in a calorie deficit. I think that proves your point that sleep plays a huge role in weight loss and wellness.
Definitely, because as I told you, when insulin is high, it also increases cravings throughout the day. People tend to start their day with a sugar option or more carbs, and then throughout the day, like there will be more snacking, more meals, and this is related to sleep, which creates more stress also to the body, and that's why the body becomes stubborn, and losing weight will become more difficult. That's why in my approach with any client, I tend to always go back to the history and talk about the importance of sleep hygiene, stress management, and beside the eating and the food intake and the lifestyle of consuming meals.
I feel like because you mentioned the insulin levels and if many hormones are going to be imbalanced as well, and I kind of feel guilty about that, and I'm not sure about like who's watching us, but I kind of feel like a lot of people relate to me because it's like I'm seeing my problem, I'm listening to my problem right over here, but like do the hormonal balance thing with sleep only, or does it also depend on other factors as well?
So as we said, sleep is something to consider. Stress, high stress leads to high insulin because it also increases the stress hormones. The more we stress, the more our adrenal glands, which are small glands available above on top of our kidneys, will secrete these stress hormones. So this will affect the overall nervous system, and also it will affect not only the insulin, the gut health also, because almost 90% of our gut is made of the nervous system. So everything in the body is affected when someone is stressed.
Speaking of nervous system and mental health, how do you approach cases that include psychological issues that affect one's relationship with food, like depression, ADHD, eating disorders, for example? How do you tackle those issues?
So usually we have to work in parallel with a specialist and either therapist or like a coaching or a psychologist when it comes to like psychological problems. However, in my practice, I see a lot of disordered eating patterns that may lead to eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, binge eating disorders. And unfortunately, it's becoming very common among the new generation. So due to restrictive eating and the lack of knowledge about the best way to diet or to eat. So the young girls or the young generation are really disconnected from their bodies and how they should manage, for example, their meal plans and their eating behavior just because they get affected by others. So this point is very important because it's increasing among young ladies. So it starts with episodes of emotional eating and they tend to, for example, run away of their emotions or not dealing with their feelings by resorting to food and eating. With time, it it becomes a habit and a practice that leads to eating disorders. And this is why it's very important for like girls and parents to be aware of such acts to prevent things from worsening and leading
to emotional disorders and emotional eating. Ghinwa, do you think more girls and like women are they more like prone to emotional eating than guys and boys? Or
yes, there are boys who like get diagnosed with eating disorders. However, it's more common
with the girls. I think it's also because of like weight loss, weight gain,
the hormones,
issues, and
also social pressure plays a big role. So young women, they are always addressed like through their bodies. So you look fat, or you look nice,
skinny, or you look skinny. Or
yes. So these come like from like either peers or like even the family when children like are small. So and this is how they are being dealt with. So it's always about their bodies or their food. Don't eat that much, or you're eating a lot.
You're eating a lot. Stop eating. You're consuming too much sugar. It's gonna affect your body. Just stop there. I mean, we kind of like, I think all of us went through that in some way or another. And I want to know, so if a family member of mine or like a friend of mine is going through what we have just mentioned right now, how can I like tackle this problem? Actually, how can I notice this? And then how can I be there for them and support them? Like, how can I do that?
Yes. So, as I said, awareness is very important. However, people who are involved in like severe disordered eating patterns, let's call it that way, tend to notice that at a later stage or a late stage. So they tend to notice it when it starts affecting their daily activities or their daily life. It's affecting their mental health.
What do you mean, like it affects their daily activities? Like,
so they're all constantly thinking about food. What should I eat? What should I not eat? Oh, I can't eat this because it will make me fat. I need to count my calories. I need to weigh myself twice a day. I cannot go out with my friends because I don't want to eat in front of them. I need to eat at night when my parents are asleep. So this is how it affects their daily lives. And this is when they tend to notice that there's something wrong. And some of them will seek help, while others will maybe dismiss the fact and go into the...
just hide it and deal with it on their own.
Yes. So it's very important to, if you know someone, to maybe talk to them or refer them to someone that would like really understand what they're going through, coach them. And
what if they like kind of refuse? Like you're trying to, like to offer help, but they refuse because they have like this shame in them, or like, they're going through it and they don't want to show it. It could be vulnerable in a way.
It could be, but when it starts affecting their life or even their health, for example, some people get into like harmful acts that might affect their lives. So this is when we should say, no, we need to seek help. And like dealing with such challenges really need a supportive group, a supportive family, supportive friends, supportive clinicians to go through the management. And it takes time because it's behavioral, it's been a habit. But in my practice, I really try to give the advice that I know how to deal with. So definitely we teach them again about the basics of macros, foods, and we teach about mindfulness, how to eat, for example, slowly, chew their meals properly, savor the meals they're eating, being away from distractions, being calm when eating. And there's a rule that usually I talk about, which is the rule of 5D, and it's easy to remember when you give clients or people these small hints. So 5D, it stands for delay. So whenever you're having, for example, an urge to have an emotional eating episode or a binge eating episode, so the first D is delay the time. For example,
so don't go and eat straight away, just delay it.
Yes,
and then...
because it might be an emotional urge to eat and not a not physical hunger.
Okay.
It's like an emotional hunger. So it's just appetite. It's just.
But what if I want to eat? Like if for example, let's say a bar of chocolate. I'm craving a bar of chocolate and I want to eat it. And I don't think like I can delay it. I want to eat it. So I sit on the table. I can't take my eyes off it. What do I do?
So you try to delay. And we're talking here about people who have challenges with emotional eating, not like someone who is okay with eating a bar of chocolate and he wants it and he's fine with his lifestyle.
Yeah.
So 5 to 10 minutes. If the urge to eat is there, we can have it. The second D is distance yourself from the source. So people who have emotional eating episodes tend to crave certain foods, like, for example, chips or nuts or like salty stuff or carbs, for example, chocolate, cakes, donuts. So whenever you have things around you, you will eat. Even like me as a dietitian, I'm a human being. If I have a chocolate bar in my drawer, I will eat it.
Yeah,
so it's very normal.
They say that sometimes that it's not really hunger, it's more of a dehydration problem.
Could be, definitely. And that's why we stress about the importance of hydration, because dehydration leads to feeling hungry. So this is one big part, eating properly, like eating enough protein. So avoiding long fasting hours and a lot of hunger. So distance yourself from the source, out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. Okay. A third D is to download your emotions. So people who have emotional eating challenges, they tend to hide their emotions. They tend not to express themselves. So you either can talk to someone and empty your feelings or write them down.
I know we've talked about emotional eating, but how is like hiding my feelings or letting my feelings out is related to like the 5 Ds and like food, like eating or not eating.
So emotional eating is hiding your emotions and resorting to food. So it's kind of dealing with your emotions in the wrong way. So
as a coping mechanism.
Exactly, as a coping mechanism. It's like an addiction. So all addictions come from
it stems from something.
Yes, from challenges. And this is a very big part of managing such cases, because like letting the emotions out, talking about what's bothering you, treating the root cause of your problem. For example, if you have challenges at home with a parent or with your friends. So talking about it, setting boundaries, managing it will really help in also balancing your feelings and
not resorting to emotional eating. And how about the fourth one or the fifth one?
So distract is one. So distract your mind.
I think we said delay.
So delay. Distance, download, distract your mind. So if you have an urge to binge and you just had your lunch, for example, go talk to a friend, talk to your mother, listen to Quran, listen to music, pray, go exercise. Physical activity is very helpful in changing the physiology of a person and changing the mood and the state of mind. And the last D is decide. If you want to have this chocolate or this bag of chips, go ahead and have it, but don't shame yourself. Don't talk negatively to yourself.
Ghinwa, I saw like this TED Talk once that the lady in the TED Talk was talking about, like, there was this experiment like on 2 groups of people. Both of them, each of them got like a slice of chocolate cake. Both of the groups had the chocolate cake, but one group was feeling guilty about eating that chocolate cake, and they were like stressed about it. Oh, we're gonna gain weight and this is unhealthy and we're ruining our diet. The other group was like, yeah, it's okay. I enjoyed this piece of chocolate cake. I'll just go on with my day. And then later on, they found out that the groups that was not so stressful, that enjoyed the chocolate cake, had higher metabolism, and it was easier for them to keep up with their dietary goals.
Yeah.
But the other group, the one that felt guilty, were struggling with their weight and their health.
Yes.
So it's all about the mindset at the end of the day.
Definitely. And we have to see this group of people who has guilt, are they involved in restrictive dieting and eating patterns? Because too much dieting from a young age will also affect the way you deal with food. And again, it will make you lose the proper relationship with eating, and eating should be something that comes naturally. You're hungry, you eat to survive, you eat to have proper nutrients, and that's it. It shouldn't be like a war or a struggle all the time. But unfortunately, restrictive diets we're bombarded with restrictive diets are the ones that are booming. So whenever
I don't just think it's restricted diets. I think it's actually a lot of social pressure as well. And it's what we see on social media. I need to look like this person. Yes. I need to have a body like that person. I need to consume the same diet that this person is consuming. And this just puts a lot of pressure on not just women, but even men in general. You need to have your body in a certain type. You need to eat certain food. Even if you're let's say I'm craving a burger and I'm going out with a group of my friends like healthy food. Healthy food isn't in their terms, it's salad, it's let's say an orange juice or a pineapple juice, whatever the case is. And I'm craving a burger. I would be embarrassed to eat a burger in front of them, and I wouldn't. And I think this, all of this is just, it puts a lot of pressure on all of us.
Of course. That's why we need to re-educate people about what's unfortunately, we have to do that, how to eat and what's the best food and what's okay and what's not okay, how to deal with our emotions and feelings. But it really all starts from the family. So mothers and fathers should be aware of that. They should not address their kids through their bodies or their shapes.
As in you're fat,
yes.
You need
engage their children in activities. So a lot of people they tend to give their children iPads or iPhones or tablets to and they spend hours and hours watching or playing video games. Yes, so this also plays part in what's happening, the endemic of obesity. We really need to bring awareness and focus on natural food. I always preach for when they ask me what's the best diet. So there's actually no best diet for the diet that would work for me would not work for Latifa or Khulud. But each one of us should know what suits their body. But one thing for sure is that we need to go back to our roots and how our great-grandparents used to eat. So we need to eat natural foods. We need to eat what God has given us. So animal proteins, we have a big variety, the beans, the legumes, the cereals. The best diet would look like the Mediterranean diet.
Before we actually go in depth through what should we eat and the natural remedies and natural herbs and foods, what's a diet?
So a diet at first, the word is came from Greece, the Greek word dieta. So it used to mean the way of living or the way of eating.
Never knew.
Yeah, but with time it became restrictive eating. So a diet means the food you need to restrict or the food or the food
eliminate.
To eliminate. So and I think this is a negative terminology to when you relate to it. So it has a negative meaning. Whenever you say or someone says I'm on a diet, automatically it triggers negative emotions. So that's why it needs to be shuffled. It needs to be changed. We need to look at it in a different way. Like the healthy habits while growing up should be placed again.
Yeah.
And
it's not just eliminate, like if let's say I'm on a diet, it's not only the food that I'm eliminating or restricted from eating, but it's actually what I should be focusing on. So Latifa, if you think about a diet, like let's say I tell you I'm on a diet, what comes up to your mind?
Okay, so I think...
Speak truthfully.
Sure, of course. So I think diet culture really affected the way we see the word diet. It has like a negative connotation. I mean, you know, that the diet culture can be so toxic sometimes. I mean, when I was a teenager, I fell into that spiral of like dieting. It's not really dieting. It's more like, you know, of like starving myself and not eating properly. You know, the results were temporary. Then I gained double the weight. So now I'm reforming the way I see diet. I mean, you know, just there's a lot of resources, you know, people on social media and, you know, people that dissect the diet culture and, you know, how like it affected us and like whether it's positively or negatively. So what is your take on that?
Diet culture has taken a negative connotation, as you said. It's a negative word. You associate it with negative feelings and emotions. And our brain, our thoughts is the leading cause to our actions. So the way we think about something will trigger certain feelings and certain emotions that will hinder certain actions. So if we constantly think that this diet, this food is fattening, or I am fat, we will constantly have negative emotions all day that will lead to negative actions and reactions. So we will eat more, as you said, or you will eat things that would cause you gain more weight and lead to doubling the weight, as you said. So we need to work on our thoughts, our self-talk. We need to redefine what's healthy and what's not healthy. The marketing has played a big role in changing this and changing the correct, like the propaganda they made, thoughts about, for example, food. So
not just food, but everything. In between. I think everything.
Yeah. So when they market for something that's light or diet, and you see that, for example, they've taken out the sugar or the fat, but they've added more carbs. So now people are realizing that such things are scams.
But there are additives as well.
Additives, preservatives, colorants, and these all. When you asked me at the beginning about functional nutrition, this is what functional nutrition deals with. So you have to eat clean. You have to avoid additives, preservatives, colorants, fake vitamins, because these affect our hormones too. So we need to dissect food. We need to go back to the roots, how your grandmother used to eat. Our grandparents never used to use vegetable oils like corn oil, canola oil, soy oil. These are all new. And if you go and see how these oils are made, you would never try them again. They are extracted through chemical solvents, unlike the olive oil, which is extracted so without additives, cold pressed, so which would preserve the polyphenols or the antioxidants in it. So whenever you're cooking with it, it would still preserve an antioxidant function. And one time, the propaganda was against cooking with olive oil, but going back, they used to cook with it. They used to cook with butter. They used to cook with ghee. But things have changed through the media.
When it comes to our grandparents and also even our parents, their lifestyle is different. Yes. So that also played a huge role in their diet and the way they consume food. So now, if you think about it, now we're all just like, laying down, just like on our electronics, PC, consoles, we don't move as much. And also our weather doesn't really help, like you want to take a walk outside, but it's so hot outside.
And it's also the accessibility of food delivering apps and like restaurants and cafes. I think before 2017, before Talabat was here in Qatar, and like, you know, before they operated Talabat in Qatar, I think I always wondered, because like sometimes I used to tell my mom, oh mom, I'm craving this. She says, go get into your car, drive to that place, get it, and then come back. Is it worth it? And I think to myself, no, you know, I'm just gonna make me whatever I have in my fridge.
Exactly.
And now, oh my God, the amount of like sugar I can consume in a day, or like junk food, or like, you know, processed food. It's just unbelievable, because it's one tick away.
And this is what food companies want. This is what the huge like food institutions want for people to do.
Yeah, to consume in them. But Ghinwa, like, if we want to define healthy and like a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet, a healthy food, how would you define it? Like, what would you tell me, or what would you tell the people who are listening?
I would tell them to go back to natural food. As I was saying, the Mediterranean diet is the closest one to healthy, to natural. So it's based on beans, legumes, grains, seeds, nuts, fish for a few times a week.
Mostly.
Vegetables, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, animal proteins to a certain extent. Movement is essential. Being outdoors is essential. Latifa, you mentioned the weather here. However, I know that they scared us a lot from the sun, but sun exposure is really important. Sun exposure is important
for a certain time.
Definitely. And outside peak times.
When is the best time to expose yourself
it's
to the sun?
early, very early in the morning or late in the evening, depending on the UV index that you can now easily check it on your phone whenever you're checking the weather. So there's a range. But it's important to regulate our sleep. So what people don't know is that sun exposure will stimulate melatonin secretion in the body.
And melatonin is
important for sleep. Sun exposure is important to secrete serotonin, which is the happiness hormone. Think about it that way. Whenever you go to the beach, for example, and spend a day there, you would feel very comfortable. You'd feel very relaxed.
Even in your sleep, like that sleep after hitting the beach, it's very, calming and relaxing. Yeah, it hits different.
This is because melatonin kicked in.
Yes.
And for vitamin D secretion, so that you don't have to take a pill every day.
I read somewhere, because I have ADHD, and it was new to me that ADHD really affects the way you eat. And it makes sense. I mean, all those years, before I got diagnosed, sometimes I would just like eat mindlessly. And now I just before I eat anything, I just ask myself, am I really hungry? Am I dehydrated?
Yes.
I just think twice before consuming any type of food.
Amazing.
So
You're doing good. You're doing good.
And
yes.
for going back to young women in the diet culture and nutrition, I always try to encourage the girls in my family, my cousins especially, because they're teenagers, and their consciousness is still forming, and it gets programmed easily. So I always try to encourage them to follow healthy lifestyles and not listen to what others say about them. And it's easier said than done, I know, but I always tell them about my experience, because I don't want them to go through what I've been through.
Of course.
So I think it's important for us, the adults,
spread awareness.
Spread awareness, and also talk to especially children and
professionals
kids in our family, and encourage them and give them some of our experience, so they can just decide what to follow at the end of the day.
Definitely, you're doing a great thing, spreading the word out, and we can do that in schools or other like group activities. But we definitely need to work on that in our community.
Yeah, so
there's
a final advice for those young people and people people in general who are watching, what would you like to, I mean, besides like going back to natural herbs and remedies and natural foods, what else would you like to say, Ghinwa?
I would say like listen to your bodies, avoid restrictive diets, restrictive eating, and make sure you connect yourself with the right people, and move. And be outdoors, and we're ready to help whomever is really in need.
Thank you for giving us your time, and it was a great pleasure having you here today. Thank you, Ghinwa.
Thank you. So now it's your turn to tell us more about your dietary plans and what is it that you like to change in your lifestyle in the comment section below. Thank you. See you in the next episode.